And hello good people of the internet, it is I, Tommy Kelly, and this is Adventures in Woo. And in this episode I'm just giving another update on my Reiki journey. So in a few hours I am going to session number 3 of my Reiki, and I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely, I feel, doing something to me and having an impact, whereas the first week was definitely a positive impact. The second week was very a negative impact, or at least showed me an awful lot of shadow stuff or things I have to work through and that kind of stuff. I was kind of, after the first week, was kind of feeling that I would, this would be great, I get all cleared out and everything would be wonderful, and I'd be all dancing and singing for the rest of my life and everything would be solved. And of course week 2 went, no, there's work to be done, there's a lot of work to be done. And I've noticed a lot of things over the week, since I made that last video where I was kind of in the depths of it, different areas of my life where I'm kind of doing things like in a routine, or reacting to things constantly the same way, like on a track, or like on automatically, like an automaton. And that's very interesting, and something that I like, although it wasn't a huge revelation to me, because I'm sure I do an awful lot of that stuff, but it was just kind of interesting to see how much of an impact that was actually having. Just certain things in different relationships, or different things I do where there's a like kind of call and response thing where this happens and then I do that, or I do this and then to get this kind of effect, and none of it good, like all kind of destructive, shadowy type stuff. And that's certainly come up and been to the forefront, and to kind of not engage in that and to try not to react to that. But of course then there's this void left of, particularly in say a relationship where you stop having these triggers or whatever, that it's hard then to do what do you do with that void that has then been kind of created from that. So that's it's early days, and it'll take a while to the new dynamic to surface and stuff like that. But it's also not just kind of working on the kind of real or the mundane kind of things of relationships or different people, or things I do and all that, but it's also trying to work on an energetic level, man, on the woo-woo of it, and trying to change my thoughts around things in a definite kind of reality trance-surfing way, to see these things as pendulums, as is talked in reality trance-surfing. And sorry for kind of throwing out this nomenclature of a thing that I haven't really talked about before. Well, I've mentioned it a few times on the show, but it's not something I went in depth on. It's kind of the law of attraction on steroids, and I hate when people say things like that, because it's like that's such a stupid statement, but everyone knows what it means. But it answered an awful lot of my questions, an awful lot. Well, not that it answered them necessarily satisfactory, but at least there is an answer to them. Whereas when it's an awful lot of stuff like The Secret and Law of Attraction, the Abraham Hicks, and even the Stuart Wilde stuff, his miracles and stuff, it leaves an awful lot up of that whole thing of, yeah, but why? Or how does that work? And why does this happen here and not happen here? And the reality trance-surfing seems to have an answer for that, which it's like most of it is satisfying, but some of it isn't. But I've been trying to incorporate an awful lot of that thing. So working on these kind of shadow stuff that suffers energetically too, where catching yourself in, say, complaining, and just not complaining, because the thing that what you resist persists, and complaining is a form of resistance, obviously. And also it's a thing that we kind of do so that we don't have to do anything about it. That it's like a way of releasing the kind of tension of it. But what happens is we have a chronic kind of complaining mode where we just don't then fix the problem. We just complain about the problem. It's like having that whole thing of like being in a job for years and all you do is complain about the people who you work with. But that's the release, that's the fix. It's a very short-term fix, rather than actually sorting out that relationship, or confronting that thing, or leaving the job, or whatever it is that has to be done. So a complaining thing, and I do most of my complaining internally, because I don't like kind of talking to people about this kind of stuff, or being upfront with it. I don't like the conflict of it, and I don't like when people complain to me, so I tend not to do it as well. But the kind of B-side of that is that I also don't talk about the things I'm into to people as well, because I kind of, when people talk to me about things, I sometimes find it quite boring, and I don't want to do that to people. A lot of stuff going on now, but yeah, so the Reiki, I think, has definitely been a catalyst to all this. And there's a cow who wants to be part of the vlog, obviously. So I, again, don't know how much of it is coming from the actual energetic thing of the Reiki, or whether it's me using it as an excuse to look further into all of these things. Either way, I don't mind. It's all fine. I'm good with it once I get to where I want to be, and I'm on the track to where I want to be. So I'll definitely be interested this week to see what my that cow is so funny. What will happen? What will my kind of Reiki thing lead to this week? Because I've had the positive, had the negative. Will it stay negative for a while? Will it kind of go back to the positive? I suppose. Cow, I'm trying to record a vlog here. He's really not happy. Well, she's really not happy. All cows are female. Not to assume anyone's gender. But yeah, so whether it'll, I suppose the worst thing that would happen would be to do the session and nothing happens. Like a complete neutral thing. But we'll see. Yes, I'm looking forward to it, and I just thought I'd do another kind of update, particularly as the last one was a bit kind of down. I'm in much better form now, a bit more centered. I am getting out again by myself to do these things, to just be by myself with the kind of thing of still working but getting the video done. But that satisfies a part of me that needs to be satisfied, and it is part of self-care, is getting my to-do list fixed. I'm also reading a book about the Myers-Briggs personality things, and I am an INFJ. I'm very much an INFJ. I'm like a textbook INFJ, and that's been great as well, because I knew I was that, and I've done the test a number of times, and I keep getting that. And even though that's another kind of thing where you're kind of pigeonholing yourself, labeling yourself, limiting yourself, all of those things, I'm very aware of that. It's a good roadmap. The map's not the territory, obviously, but it's a good roadmap into realising that it's okay to be who I am. That my kind of traits and my attributes, or the way I approach the world, I view the world, I want to engage with the world, is okay, and I don't have to kind of steel myself to be someone else, or work on myself to become this kind of normal person, because that's not who I am. I'm introverted with extroverted feelings, so I can work very well I'm not shy, I'm not lacking in confidence for the most part, but I can work well in a crowd. I can be, all of those things, so I can come across extroverted, but I like, I need to get away from people and all of those things. So it's that's been great learning, and being able to kind of incorporate and sense that out, that it's okay to be me, and how I approach the world, rather than thinking of something wrong with me, it's something I had to improve or work on. That an awful lot of the things that maybe I felt that I should be doing, or should approach, or I should work on, are just trying to be a different person than I am, rather than, say, a fault or something that's in me that needs to change, or need to work on, or I need to improve. It's okay to be an introvert. It's okay to also want to spend time with people. It's okay to need people at an arm's length. And it's certainly okay to be out in the open beside a graveyard on a Monday morning, talking about my life to people on the internet, and all of these things. So that's the way it is, and that's how it is right now. That's my update on the Reiki thing, and yeah, more to follow. Hey Moo. So I've just come out of my Reiki session, and that's definitely going to go down as one of the more woo moments of my life. I don't really know what to say about the whole thing. I'm not even sure I want to talk about it. I'm certainly not going to talk about some of it, just because it's personal to me, and stuff I have to unpack, and stuff I have to kind of look through before I kind of announce it to the world, or if I even ever do announce it to the world. But I've definitely Gordon White, in his book Chaos Protocols, talks about becoming invincible, where you have a moment that from which you can't go back, where you're convinced that magic exists, or that there's more to life than the reductionist materialism advocates would have us believe, that there's some sort of moment. While it's not quite that's not what I had exactly. I definitely had something that was extremely impactful, and I feel will possibly be a catalyst for huge change in my life, or at least a point in time where something that I can point to, that something happened. Almost a bit like that kind of thing I talked about before in the podcast, where I seen a star exploding. and immediately kind of the world tried to normalize and that thing. But I seen that happened. That's something I can never explain. Something I have a couple of kind of incidences of them type of things which will convince no one other than me. But they're not possibly type becoming invincible type level things. But there was a moment in this Reiki that I got today where a second set of hands was put on my body. And of course, there's no one else in the room other than me and the healer, and there was no question that happened. There was no ambiguity about it. There was no kind of, oh, that's kind of someone else's hands. That's kind of, oh, maybe I kept just not fully sensing where the healer's hands were. I knew exactly where her hands were, and I knew exactly where these other set of female hands arrived on my body, and it did it deliberately. It was announcing itself, but not in a rough or a weird, or any kind of gruff manner. It was kind of gentle, but no mistake in it. I felt hands on my shoulder twice in my life. One when I was teenagery, and I was doing something, and I was getting very excited about different things, and there was a hand put on my shoulder. It felt very deliberate, very unmistakable, in a sense, just to go, chill, calm down. Another time I was in a shopping centre, and I was with a friend of mine, and it just very briefly, and while I was very aware that was something happening, it was didn't seem, I couldn't work out what the point was being made. The first time I could understand it, I was just trying to lower my energy was spiking. I'm sure it spiked an awful lot, but it just, whatever reason, that was just calm down. Second time, I don't know why it was, but this was more so. In Reiki, when I was in college, when I was doing Reiki, there was once when I was getting it where I thought that there was a number of people working on my body, and I thought that the healer, or one of the healers, had put their hands on, or had kept their hands on my feet longer than they had, and that it was over, and then it was she was beside me, and I was going, oh, I thought you were still at my feet, and that could be residue just of pressure or feeling or any of those type things. But she did point out that was the first time that she used this Reiki symbols was on my feet, so there was an extra thing. But this wasn't any of that. This was a very definite other set of hands that if I opened my eyes, I would have been fully convinced that I would see another person in the room. And it was just on my sides, and I could feel what way her hands, the orientation of her hands, all of those things. Then there was this experience where it was I was shown or seen, or all of these things, that one of my main things in life, one of the big sins that I think happen, is to ever feel good about yourself, or think that you're above your station, or that you're a good person, not a good person, that you're great at something or doing something, that you're above the norm, or in any, that whole thing of the tall poppy, cut down, who do you think you are? That biggest thing, the biggest sin in life is to see yourself as something great, or something elevated, or something other than normal piece of shit, or normal, you're just average, normal, don't get above your station, all of that, because that's the biggest sin. And this, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a helicopter over me. Maybe it's the Men in Black coming for me. The whole thing then became about, and it was an echo of something that was else that was going on, but it was all about, for now, allow yourself to be the greatest thing in the universe, to allow yourself to shine, to have big energy, to feel all of the things that you would feel if you were the center of the universe, if you were special, if you were great, if you allowed yourself to have a moment of feeling elevated and all of these things. And it was wonderful. As you can imagine, coming from a kind of restricted thing, that never to allow that, and to feel this expanding energy, and it was like smashing all of these things around me, very kind of like a Ganesha type energy, smashing all of these things around me, memories of people saying, trying to keep me down or keep me in my box, or all of these things just being blown away, and you could see the memories smashing like glass, and all of these things, and this very high energy. I don't know how else to explain it. It was wonderful. It was amazing. It was truly amazing. In the proper sense of the thing. And then a grounding, obviously, and it kind of, while it didn't kind of there was a lowering of energy, but it not kind of in a way that you have a high and then you have kind of a dip, you know, like it's not that, it's kind of just a lowering of energy. But I feel very spacey, I feel very out there, I feel very different. There was other stuff that happened in it as well that I'll unpack, and maybe I'll talk about it, maybe I won't, but it's, in case anyone thinks of it, it's to do with shadow stuff and lineages and family and stuff like that, and it's some of the stuff just isn't appropriate, possibly isn't appropriate to be talking about, because it deals with other people, it involves other people, and that's the way it is. I'm very open and very happy to talk about any of my stuff, or any of my foibles, or any of my shadow stuff or whatever, but possibly not the nicest thing to talk about other people's. And it is to do with, you know, it's kind of an element of family and stuff like that going on. So it's not just one person writing like, oh, I'm talking too much about it. It's just stuff. Just leave me have it. So, yeah, I don't know. It was, what way to describe it? I feel very odd, and I feel very empty, but in a kind of in a way of like something bad has been removed, you know, and I just kind of sitting in that energy. It's like, say you're in a room with someone really intense and it's very high energy and there's hostility and there's an anger and all that thing, and then they leave, so that's all gone, but you're just kind of sitting there with that now missing. So it has lower energy, feels different, feels lower, feels empty, but not in a bad way. It's just different. So I'm very much rambling now, so I'm just going to end it there. But just wanted to mark my kind of initial and first impressions of what was going on there. I'm just probably going to sit here for another while after I record this video. So yeah, good people of the internet, until our next adventure, be well.